I got married at 21. After 11 years of marriage, I found myself going through a divorce. And as a result of that, I had to reset. And one of the things that was asked of us today is how do you begin again when you had a life that you envisioned, thoughts that you knew in your mind, because none of us really get married to have it end. And now it's done. How do we start over and begin? So, my husband, this is my second marriage. So
Uh,
Eric will share with you his perspective about beginning again, because I know for me, between my first marriage and this marriage, there was a 7 year gap. In that 7 years, and Tanya being on her own, took me a minute from the first one to get reset. But then when I did get settled, I was in my own space, and I'm like, I want him here, but I'm not sure I want him here. We had a whole conversation about where I was going to put his stuff.
She actually said to me one time, "You're in my house." And I'm like, "Yes, you invited me."
So this is some of the stuff that we share because it's insight that others could use. And as I was saying, if there's something specific that's unique that we need to, at that point, let me know
Yeah, if it's
so
something you
we
don't
can
want to
cut that
share
off.
publicly, don't
Yeah,
share it. Just
so that I can cut that off
yeah.
and then we can give you specific strategies because the goal that we provide to the group is to give you what you need. But a lot of the conversations, general discussions like, how did you get through that? Because everybody's asking the same questions. So I make it known because I know that sometimes people see the button, but they don't push the button. And then later they ask the question. So I just give you the heads up. So
yeah,
that's all that is. So
I appreciate it. But during this first session, I probably won't share anything.
no problem.
I'll be a
Uh,
listener to just see what's going on and what you say, and hopefully get some tools that will help me along the way. But until I really understand it, I won't share.
That makes sense. Now I understand. So if you need me to prompt a little more about our story, because we are showing up together to let individuals know that there is life after divorce. You can reset again. You can begin again, even if you've gone through moments of major chaos, because we walked through that journey.
Yeah, we just try to help. And sometimes you'll have a general question that everybody has, but nobody wants to ask it. And that's fine too. But if you have something specific, like Tanya said, that you don't want to share openly, she can always do the sidebar piece with you. I only join here when she invites me. So
Yeah,
Tanya does a whole lot more. I'm a part of the group, but I jump in every once in a while if I see or feel led to respond to a post that I see, I'll respond to it. And I try to be objective because I'm a fair guy. I don't think like most men because my mother didn't raise me that way. So as I was growing up, I used to get into disagreements all the time with the male friends of mine because they thought one way and I ain't like the way they thought. And so I would always debate with them because I'm like, no, you don't treat women like that, or you don't do this, or you do that. So they didn't want to talk to me a whole lot, but what can I do? That's the way my mother raised me. But to answer the question that Tanya was speaking to me about specifically, how do you restart? I can only tell you what I had to do. And I had to get used to my new normal because you're used to being with an individual for whatever length of time it was and doing things. And I'm the type of person, I do everything that I can to keep my person, in this case, this one, happy. I try to look out for them. And so when you're used to doing that, being selfless, not putting yourself before everybody else, and now you don't have to do that anymore. Now, am I selfish or what is the deal? No, you're just by yourself. And so I had to get used to not doing things for everybody else or for someone else and not having to consider somebody else in my own, space. And that took a little while because I wasn't used to it. But after a while, I did get used to it and I started developing my new normal. What do I do every day? What do I do in this time period where I used to do X, Y, and Z? And that can be a little time of discovery. And sometimes it can throw you off because you're just not used to it yet. But that's what I did. I just took my time. Some things remained a constant and new things came into place. Okay, I can do this. Hey, I never did that before. Let me try this. So it's a time to learn new things that or things that you like that aren't necessarily new, but you never reached out and tried by yourself. And sometimes that's scary because it's uncomfortable. You're going into an uncomfortable zone where you're exploring something new and it may not be comfortable to you yet. But then you find out what things you like, what things you don't like. You pick and choose and you just keep moving forward. But you don't just shelter yourself. You don't stay. You got to get out there. Not out there meaning dating, but out there and still living life. You can't just put yourself in the shell and shut yourself off, because I've tried that one too. That doesn't work for a person like me. I've got to engage. I've got to interact because it's just a part of my nature and who I am. And so I just had to find the right avenue, the right spaces in which to do that so that I can remain happy and healthy mentally, emotionally, which is most important. I think that's where a lot of people have issues is they don't know how to function or deal with their new normal emotionally. And that can put a heavy toll on somebody. So that's what I actually did. What did you do?
So I went through a couple of different things. He already had the positive thing. I had to go through because I got, like I said, married at 21. That I had spent my entire adult life with just one person. And my whole relationship element about how I showed up, what did it mean to be a wife? What did it mean to be a mother? That whole dynamic was so new. And I struggled with really trying to figure out what does it mean for me? So my identity got wrapped around, like some of us do, the stories that you hear about how you should be a wife, how you should be a mother, how you should actually show up in this environment. And I did not allow who I naturally was at the core of my being show up. So at the end of that relationship, having tried to morph myself to fit what he thought, to fit what society said, to fit what the storybooks say, the movies say, all the things, right?
That's a lot of pressure.
Well, some of us walk through that. This is why my start. So when all of it was over and that relationship ended, I had to figure out, well, what does home really look like? How does resetting again look like for me? And how do I begin? Where do I even start? So my starting point was, let's start at the basics and get to know Tanya, because I did not have enough clarity about who I truly was anymore, because I had tried to fit inside of what the norm was, what he stated he wanted, what the fairy book story tales typically share. And as a result of that, I didn't really show up as me. I'm not the type of mommy that's all huggy, huggy, woo woo. And I love my kids. All of us do. But I'm not the type of mother that sits down and bake apple pie, put the Band-Aid on your knee. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She'll eat that apple pie though.
I'll share it a little bit. But I'm the type of mother that says, okay, just dust it off. Are you good? Make certain that they're safe. Okay, let's shake this off and let's try again. Next time, now that I see where they had to fail, give them some insight because I'm built for strategy. I had to be okay with the fact that my natural, logical, analytical mind can still show up in a loving, caring way. It may not look like everybody else thought it should, but it was Tanya. Because when people needed strategy, they came to me. If you needed somebody to help you with a plan, they came to me. Nobody had a problem coming to me for all the other things. But then you want to tailor how I should show up in that sliver of space. And that was just a small microcosm of my being. But everybody makes it so big. So when we find ourselves on the other side of a relationship breaking down, that small microcosm got so magnified. That's where we found our identity. So we struggle getting settled again, struggle finding home again. And for 3 years, I struggled identifying what home meant to me. So today, sharing a little bit of those pieces. So I want to pause to see if that's something we want to continue talking about and going into that. Because if that's not your struggle, and give me an idea, we can pivot a little bit and share a piece of what we did as a strategy. What are your thoughts?
No, what you're talking about is great. It's on
Awesome.
target. Yeah.
So here's the first strategy that can support someone walking through that journey. If you're similar to me, knowing that you've let the whole element of your being be that small microcosm of who you actually are, rediscover you. I started with what's my favorite color? Is teal really still my favorite color? Or is it something else? Now, here's the thing that I learned. So, my strategy, because I am also not the typical girly girl, I grew up a tomboy. So, well, it is what it is. You already know.
Yeah.
So, being a tomboy, my grandmother tried to make me girly girly because all of my older cousins, they are fashion bees, queen stars. If you need to get somebody to dress you, give you style sequence, they are the ones. Me on the other hand, yeah, I was that little girl over there playing in the dirt with the worms, playing football with the boys, baseball over here. That was me. So my reset story had to go back to Tanya. What brought me joy? So find things and remember. If you can't remember now because of the chaos that you're in, what brings you joy? Go back. One point in your world, you knew what brought you joy. Now, the construction thing, building things was my happy place. So Lowe's and Home Depot, those are my happy places. So
Let me tell this piece, right? 'Cause
okay.
this woman, we were friends first. I mentored Tanya in business, and it escalated to friends, and then best friends, and spiritual partners, and then we got to the romantic part. But one of the things Tanya loved to do was to go to Home Depot. How many women really? That's a fun time for them. It was for her, and she wanted to go to the power tools. Nowhere else. It wasn't to look at dishwashers or what, none of that. She wanted to see power tools, and she said, "I gotta touch them." I'm like, "What?" I had never touched a power tool in my life. She wanted to touch power tools. I was like, "Okay, if that's what makes you happy, let's go."
Some of them they had on exhibit so that you could see how they worked. And the reason why I wanted to touch them because when he and I met, I'd gone through my 3-year phase of rediscovering Tanya. And as I was sharing, I started in the paint aisle. You go to the paint section, they got all those color palette template things. Pick a color scheme. You can just stand there, look at the wall, and just gauge which one really draws my attention. And then if you want to go deeper, you pick up one of those little strips. They usually got 2 or 3 colors on them. You can, and to go deeper, you can get a paint sample can. This is what I often share for individuals that are in the same environment. If you are in a shared home, and the ex left and you got the home, or they're still there and you just want to change what it looks like until y'all can separate one another, but you know that this is not going to always be my place and I don't want to always have these memories. You can get a paint sample can and paint one wall basically with that little sample can and let that be your accent wall. That one small change can give you a different change in how you feel about your environment. And I have some other tips if you want to go deeper about how to change your environment on a budget. Because another thing that happens to us sometimes, because we are walking through those experiences, your money get janky. Because the 2 income household is now 1 income, or you're still struggling with how you're going to separate the income, and you don't really have the money that you used to. So you got to figure out how to be really creative. Yeah. So I'm the queen of creativity.
Indeed, you are. Where's your crown?
So the power tool part that he's discussing is after I went through my color palette, I discovered a new color. I like burgundy. I did not know that I really liked burgundy until I went through the wall of colors at Lowe's and Home Depot. And I kept being drawn to the richness of it. And I'm like, this is different. The thing that helped me get a little closer to what does home look like, getting to the place of resetting and being okay is because one thing that you may often hear, the only constant that exists is change. But a lot of us don't like change because we fear the unknown. Well, I embraced in just the color sequence change. So I decided to let burgundy be my change moment, to dip my toe into the pool of change because everything else was already changing. I just wanted to control over some of the change that was happening. So that was part of it. The next thing for me was finding my power again. I grew up in a household full of entrepreneurs. My grandmother and my godfather were what they now call weekend warriors, where they renovated homes. And I would help, but I couldn't always touch all the power tools because I was growing up and stuff like that. But as I got older and started renovating some of the things in my own home, I realized I didn't do that a lot while I was married because my ex had a particular style and I let him have his style. I abdicated my own throne. And in abdicating my throne, I lost my voice. And in losing my voice, I lost my power. And I needed to reset that. So choosing the power tools, even though I couldn't afford all of them right then, I could imagine what it looked like, visualize as I felt, went through, and I let my husband share this part because he is a mental conditioning coach. So there's a thing that he shares often with his students. You want to share that part? Because
Which
that was what I was
which
walking
which
through.
part is that? I shared.
Visualizing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I well, first of all, I've been a mentor of teenagers for 37 years. I started mentoring inside of we're in Maryland, in Prince George's County, Maryland. I volunteered in their school system for 15 years, and now I'm going back to my old high school myself to mentor over there. But I do mental conditioning. All I do is challenge kids, and some of those kids are now in their 30s and 40s, by the way, how to think better. Because if you think better, you'll make better decisions, and you're learning how to be better control of your emotions and things of that matter. So that's what I actually do all the time. I'm challenging people to do better. You know, the words they use, the phrases they use, their body language. Um, People will read you and you don't even realize that your face is saying something and you think you're not saying anything at all because your mouth's not moving, but you're saying something about the facial expression that you have. This
Hmm.
one's guilty of that all the time.
Yeah.
But it's what I teach my kids because although it's in sports, the sports are a vehicle through which I do what God has led me to do, which is to help his kids do better. So I challenge them. Sometimes they don't understand. And what I told every coach that I've worked with is everything is about relationships. See, a lot of coaches just want to win games, win, 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 puff themselves up. I could care less. I mean, I like to win, don't get me wrong, but that's not my soul or my primary purpose for being there. Those are vehicles through which I can help somebody. So that's what I do. So I challenge those kids. I get to know each and every kid individually, where most coaches get to know some of them pretty good, but they know all of them as a team. I have to know them individually because that's the way I can best help them. Like I always tell the coaches, you can fuss at the whole team at one time, and that's fine. But once you single a kid out, you better know what that kid is made of and what he's going to do or she's going to do when you say a certain thing, when you do a certain thing, how they're going to respond to you. That's where the relationship part comes in. That's what I do. I've created a survey, if you will. I ask like 12 questions of them so I can get to know a little bit about them. And then I watch their behavior. And then I correct it when I have to. And if I get on them tough, I later pull them aside and let them know why I had to do that. So it's a constant communication. So that's my biggest thing. I love to communicate. And when, like, going back to the group, if I see something where I can help, I'll offer a suggestion. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'll give you something to think about. And that's been my role in the group all these how many years has it been now?
As in this group,
Yes.
5 years.
Yeah. And I wasn't even trying to be a part of this. Tanya had a need. She had well, she was led to do it. Then she said, "Why don't you come on and join this group?" And I was like, "Nah, I ain't trying to do that." But being a good husband and a best friend, because she is my best friend, I decided to come on because again, it is about an opportunity to help where I can. So Tanya is more deep into it than I am, but I do offer suggestions from time to time when I feel led to and when I know I can help. And again, being her best friend, she asked me to help her with this because I'm not really into the video stuff. I'm not into that. That's not my forte. I'm still not looking at the little camera spot she told me to look at right now. I'm looking down here myself. But I talk, and I share and I feel. And I don't have a problem sharing my feelings about things, my opinions about things to try to help someone. And that's my thing. That's what I do. So again, if it's any time there's a question you may have about a male perspective, you contact Tanya because I'm not always looking on the at the group, but let her know, and then she'll ask me, "Well, how would you do this?" And I'll answer it, and I'll give you my honest opinion on it. It won't be biased or against women. It'll just be my honest feelings because again, like I said earlier, my mother raised me different. I have so much respect for females, more so than most of the guys that I grew up with would ever want to admit. Some of them may have too, but they didn't like me for that. But I didn't care.
Your
You
mom did a
guys, in
great
my
job.
opinion, are the epitome. Men can't function without women. I just don't think we can. We need you guys. And so, but a lot of male with that male chauvinist stuff and that ego and all that bravado, they can save all that. It ain't about all that. It's about getting together, finding somebody that you can love and honor and respect, and they love, honor, and respect you at the same time, and you all can go through life together. And that's all it's about. But you do have to start with loving yourself. So I'm gonna give you whoever is listening right now, I'm gonna give you a little assignment that I give all the kids that I start to mentor, because this will let me know whether or not I can continue mentoring them or whether I just coach them. I want you to make a list And this is just for you. Make a list of 10 positive affirmations, 10 things that you feel about yourself to be absolutely true, or things that you would like to be true. Like, for instance, I'll use a guy since they was in sports. If they're a football player and they want to become an NFL pro player, they can say, I play in NFL because that's something that's trying to speak into existence. So I need you to find 10 things. You can say, I'm a great mother. You can say, I'm a great friend. Don't just use the ones I have given you, but 10 things you feel about yourself, honestly. Once you make up your list, I want you to start at night. You stand in your mirror. You do not have to scream, but you need to talk so you can hear your own voice. And you recite that list in the mirror, looking at yourself. What it does is when you go to sleep that night, it's filling your mind, your body, your soul with positivity. In the morning, you get up and you do it again because now you're reinforcing what you just did last night. So you're starting off your day with all this positivity. I promise you, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to stand in the mirror and say positive things about yourself, hearing it in your own voice, and you not smile. I haven't seen anybody do it yet because you're telling yourself how wonderful you are, how you can do things, you can accomplish things, you are things. That's awesome. So to hear yourself telling yourself that you are these things and you can do these things is outstanding. And if you want to do it throughout the course of the day, you can. You may not want to carry a mirror around with you, but you can talk to yourself. But
I
I,
got a
but I,
compact mirror. It's okay.
I don't carry that, but I do talk to myself from time to time. I encourage myself. If I'm doing something, I'm like, come on, Eric, what are you doing? You can do better than that. I don't get mad with myself, but I'm pushing myself to be the best that I can be every day, which is the other thing I tell my kids. I've seen parents that put so much pressure on their children to get straight A's. It's not designed for everybody to get straight A's. Everybody has the opportunity, but it's not necessarily going to happen. But what I can ask for a kid to do is give me their best effort in every single thing they do, which is something I'm going to tell you to do. Give your best effort every day, realizing that your best may change from day to day, from moment to moment. But if you give your best in every moment that you experience, nobody can reasonably ask more of you than that. And that's all I ask for. I have a band on my wrist right now that says, all I want is all you've got. Because that's all that you can give me is all you got. I don't want perfection. I want you to strive for excellence. And when you strive for excellence, you may fall upon some perfection in there somewhere, but you don't make perfection your goal. Be fair to yourself. Sometimes you're going to feel like it, sometimes you're not. That's human. But always know how to pick yourself up. Look in that mirror and say, I'm awesome. I'm gonna have a great day today. Man, I'm smiling just saying it myself now. But but that's where you start at. Because that's the beginning. That's the thing I do with my kids. I do that first. So I want to see who's going to commit to it first of all. Because if they can't commit to doing that for a week, starting at night, so it's a complete cycle, I'll know they're not fully committed. So they'll get bits and pieces of what I teach because I share a lot of stuff. But those who do that, now I can talk to them about the next part, is what she was mentioning, was the visualization. You have to be able to see yourself being successful, see yourself accomplishing whatever it is you want to do. Because if you can't see it, you can't be it. And that's something I tell them all the time. You have to see it. You have to visualize yourself. And I did this when I was in business. I don't know if I shared this with you.
Okay.
I used to, people talk about vision boards. I found a picture of an office with a door, and I just kind of put my name on that door in the picture, and I had it on my vision board, if you will. And I looked at it all the time. So, because that was something I want to, achieve, was having my own office. And so that was my vision. I would look at that. And I would carry it with me. I had my goals written down on cards. It would be on my sun visor, in my car, on the mirror in the house. Everywhere I looked, my goals were right in front of me because everything that we do either takes us towards our goal or away from our goal. So if your goal is getting better, if your goal is becoming healed, becoming happy, whatever it is, you set that goal in front of you. You have a game plan for that, and you plan your work, you work your plan. And sometimes you're going to slip, like I said a few minutes ago, you're going to slip sometimes, but you get right back up, you keep giving your best effort, and eventually you're going to get better. And then once you start getting better, you get a little more confident and you get to doing a little bit more and a little bit more. And before you know it, those things that were holding you back or you weren't accomplishing, they no longer exist. You got a whole new life, a whole new system, a whole new world, and you feel good about it because you're doing it. And that's the best part. You don't have to wait for anybody else to motivate you. You can do it yourself. Motivation wears off when somebody else is doing it, but your own internal motivation, If what you was trying to achieve is there and it means enough, you'll do it. And that's what I do. And I get hoarse like I'm doing right now
Those
because
are
I
all
talk
really
so much.
wonderful tips. No, that's great things that you're saying
I
about the
appreciate that.
mirror and the vision board. Just last week, I was thinking about should I make a vision board? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hear a lot of younger people doing that, and it never seemed applicable. But then it was like, no, I think I do need to do that.
But you know what? After a while, once you practice this enough, because when I read these things I'm sharing with you, I've read all these things in books from people who are rich and all this other stuff. And I thought some of that stuff was crazy, just like those kids think I'm crazy when I share it with them. But guess what? I tried it. See, now I don't have to stand in the mirror and tell myself I'm awesome anymore. Because I know, I'm convinced
Yeah. Yeah.
I am outstanding. There's nobody else like me. I am
How
one
long
of
do
a
you
kind,
think?
truly, from the
How
top
long
of
do
my
I have
bald
to?
head to the bottom of my feet. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Do you continue on doing the mirror
That's what I was
thing?
saying. I don't I don't have to do the mirror per se anymore but what
You-
the mirror thing
It,
does
be,
is builds your confidence.
it becomes ingrained in you. Yeah.
Right. It's a part of me now. So what I do is I talk to myself. Now I do this. I do this. Okay. I have these little motivational cards I used to make. You know how you have magazine subscriptions and you read your favorite magazines. Well, I was getting to the point where I didn't read magazines. I would look at the magazine, but I would see positive words or phrases inside the print in the magazine. I would cut that out and put it on index cards and pass them out to people. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt that was something I was led to do. I think I started that in the late 90s. This is when I actually first started. I did it in church, and instead of listening to the pastor preach, I'm looking at people and seeing who this card belonged to. And after the service, I would give them the card, and they would say, "How did you know I needed this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I didn't know. God knew."
That.
And then it got to a point where I would just make general cards, and I could look and say, "Okay, this kid needs this one, or anybody could use this one," and I pass them out. But the thing that most people don't realize is, I'm gonna tell you my secret. I've got tons of those little card books I made up for
Yeah.
myself because I needed to get to that level myself. And now that I'm there, from time to time, I will still go back and look at my books because I'm human. And there are times when I feel that I'm not being as effective with the children that I'm trying to reach as I want to be. And so I'll think I'm slipping where I'm just having an off time. My stuff still works, it's still good, but they have to be receptive. And so I had to learn, and I share this with Tanya also. People who think like we do, who want to share and help, you will beat yourself up sometimes if you don't feel that you're being productive in helping people. But we can't control that part. Our responsibility is to share, to put it out there, to attempt to help. But the other side of that is has to be received by whoever we're trying to help, who we're trying to share with. I'm just responsible for sharing it. And I had to realize that because believe it or not, there were times when I was in business, we did financial services, and I knew that I could help a family financially. When they didn't see it, it would break my heart
Yeah.
to the point where I would actually, not in front of them, but I would shed tears because I knew if they didn't do what I was suggesting to them, it could devastate their family if somebody passed away. And that hurt me to my heart because I was genuine in trying to help them. But some people are so distrusting and all it because of how society and sometimes family has treated them. They will block a blessing or block something that they really need because they think everybody's out to get them. And so I had to learn, I had to grow from that mindset to just what I say again, all I want is all you got. I give my best. And once I give my best, that's all I have. So I motivate myself. I talk to myself. I encourage myself. I'll be like, yeah, boy, you did good with that one. But what really motivates me is when I can see kids or young people or whoever who come to me and say, look, I need you to talk to me. I don't care what time you call me in the morning, talk to me because I need what you're saying. I got people who call me Dr. Hood. I'm not a doctor, but that's what they do. They'll come to me and say, I need you to talk. Give me some positive words. Give me this, give me that. And I always have something to share with them. And I'm thankful that God uses me like that, but I'm not that special. I just give everything I have. And I'm thankful for that. And I believe being humble in what I do helps me. But I do know that the material that I share is worthy. It's not about me though. I'm just a messenger. And so I try my best to help people, but that's where I started. The things I share with you are the things I started with. But to maintain it, I just keep a positive attitude. I call myself Mr. PMA, positive mental attitude, because that's what I maintain. If I slip, I'll get a little down with myself for a minute, but I pick it right back up because again, I'm human. So I have feelings sometimes. My body may hurt. I could be having a not so good day because I don't have bad days. I have not so good days and I have great days. Again, that's mental. How you look at things is mental. And that's what I'm trying to show the kids. For example, one of the biggest things with athletics is kids wanting to fight. Even the adults, pros, they want to fight because they don't know how to manage their emotions. I would tell kids when I play ball in my neighborhood, if you weren't on my team, you're not my friend. We'll be friends after the game.
Mhm.
But it's a mental thing. I'll talk trash to you because my goal is to beat you. So if I can say something to get you out in your feelings or get you emotionally distraught, it helps me win. So I have to teach my kids the opposite, how not to allow people to get inside the head. And Tanya said the phrase earlier, not to give their power away. See, I don't let people inside my head. Are you familiar with the is it a cartoon, Batman and Robin? That show that used to come on? Are you
It's
Yeah.
TV.
you familiar with that one? Good.
Well,
So,
Batman and Robin, I don't know about what particular show you're talking
oh,
about.
okay, you don't know that one. Anyway, let me share it with you. Batman and Robin is like Superman and what do you call them?
Marvel
A
comic.
Marvel, one
This
of
is
Yeah,
DC
the little
Comics.
superhero people. Well,
yeah,
Batman and Robin was his little sidekick. Batman had the
yeah.
Joker, the Riddler, people he fought against, and Batman had this car. It was a real nice car. It's called the Batmobile. And when his enemies would try to attack him, throwing rocks or shooting bullets or whatever, he would tell his car, he would say shields down. He meant for the glass covering to come over his head to protect him from the attacks of his enemy. And so one of the things that I taught myself to do is if I'm in a room or surrounded by negativity and I can't get away or can't get it away from me, I
Mhm.
just say to myself quietly, shields.
Yeah.
That's to tell myself to block out the negativity because I have to maintain positivity. I don't want negativity around me. I don't want it in me. I don't get around. I don't deal with that. I have to move. So when I can't, I just tell myself shields. And then I'll be looking at you and I'll be nodding my head and you think I'm listening to you and all that. And I'm not hearing a thing you say. I'm just trying to find a way to get away from you. But that's a tactic that I had to learn because I have to keep my peace.
Hmm.
At all costs, I have to maintain my peace. And so I hope I'm just rambling. You got me started.
No, and both of you are really amazing. No, you
I
say a
appreciate
lot of
that.
really helpful things.
This is
And
where we
Tanya, before I got on, I listened to your, I don't know, your video episode 2 or something,
oh,
and that was really wonderful. It's really empowering, and other strategies that I took notes on that of try
Awesome.
to,
That's
so
awesome.
both of you work together so well. I can see why you get along so well because you have the same mindset.
That's my buddy. That's my
but
best
this
friend.
is why we show up because there's a lot of individuals that are struggling after the chaos that we went through. And we've gone through that gamut. So the strategies are the life lessons that we have. So we give this as an opportunity. And I have it the way I set it up because there's so many people that I'm trying to support. You see how big that group is. and,
Yeah, it
and
is.
I'm not able to do as much as I would desire in individual touch points, but as much as I can, as best I can. And if there is a moment where it's like, this part right here, I still need help, and it's just my moment, like the questions we were answering, there was a conversation, and we've pretty much walked through that strategy. But I want to make it clear for the person that asks, how do I deal with the loneliness when it's time to reset from all of this? Because I'm not who I thought I would be or with what I thought I would be, and I am lonely and I don't know how to do this again. What my husband just shared is part of how you reset again, because that's 3 years that I spent rediscovering Tanya. I did something similar to what he did. And to get to a comment that you made earlier, there are moments you may have to still go back to the mirror. I am 21 years beyond that previous marriage. And I still go back to the mirror for instances of what I do. Because when I'm sharing stuff with people, yes, I know it probably looks like I'm do this all the time and it's all great. Yes. But each and every time, I have a part of me that says, okay, we're showing up. And I go through my nervous energy and I go through my butterflies and I have to check myself. And I look in the mirror and tell Tanya, you know how to do this. You got this. And when I was going through my loneliness, I had to reassure Tanya of who Tanya actually is. That person is not here. But me discovering me, oh, that's a full-time job that is ever ongoing because we were always designed to grow into a greater version of ourselves. And if you focus on growing into the best version of you, you don't leave space for loneliness. You continue to put measures in place. And inside the group, if you look under the content tab, there's a guide section. Inside of that guide section is a whole lot of different things, some playlists that can change your mood because sometimes we have some difficulty changing our own atmosphere. And a song was a thing that helped lifted me up. So there's a couple of those. Sometimes we need to read something from someone else that has gone through the journey. So there are things in there that can motivate and encourage you. And then the Red Alert Diaries podcast, that was birthed from the group because there were comments and things that people were asking of my story. And I wrote down in a journal that I did not consistently journal. I still don't consistently journal. But I had to go back to a few things during that time to jog my memory, to remember the strategy. Because when we're walking through the storm, we don't know it's a strategy until we find ourselves on the other side. So this is all this moment is. And that's what we pretty much wanted to share. Are there any comments, questions, or thoughts before we close out?
No, I just want to thank you both. You gave me a lot of tools and strategies to like work on. I
That's what
really
this is
See, I'm
for.
gonna count that success.
So much
That's
for
all. That's
staying
all we
here.
try to do. And it was nice interacting with you. And again,
Yeah.
when I make statements, I mean them. If there's ever a question where you need a male's perspective, because you all always gonna Tanya does stuff with you guys all the time. But if you ever have that need, reach, get in touch with me through Tanya, what have you, and I'll be more than happy to give you my best opinion on whatever that situation may be. And I look forward to seeing and talking to
Yeah.
you again. This has been good.
Great.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, same here. Thank you
Thank
both
you.
so much. Really
Thank you. We
appreciate it.
appreciate you.
Come back next time we have it. Share in the
Yeah.
group so that people know because I do realize that some individuals are like, I'm not really sure. Thank you for staying. Thank you for
How do
Yeah.
you notice that it's there? I just happened to be looking at a post. Well, I'm new to the group, but I was looking at a post and I think you made a comment on it, but you just have to check the events tab.
the events tab. We put all the events that the group hosts there so that you
Yeah.
can find it. And we try to make certain we post in the group so that you can see at different touch points because I never know who's coming in and out.
Yeah.
But this gives you the chance and put comments in. And if you're looking for some specifically, let us know and I can
Yeah.
invite you as I see the notation when we put them up as well. So
Yeah.
share in the group, let people know that this is not a
Yeah.
scary moment. I do know that for me, I do things a little bit different, which is why we have two different elements in the group
Hmm.
because I share with individuals. I'm a coach. As a coach, I teach, share, and show. And I have limited time, but I want to reach as many and the support as best I can. So that's why this is designed this way.
Don't forget your homework.
I
Yes.
know I am. I'm going to start working on is right away, and I will do, those 10,
Yeah, and
affirmations.
again, it's just something about hearing your own voice speak positivity about you that just you're gonna smile.
And
You're gonna
Yeah.
smile when you look at that. You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh man, I like this. I'm awesome. I'm special. And you're gonna be looking forward to going to that mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That's
promise
it.
you, you will. But it's gonna boost your and your confidence level may already be up there, but if it's not, it's going to raise it. And if it is
Yeah.
a good, healthy confidence, it's gonna even rise it up a little bit more. And then I'll show you a little bit more. If you tell me, Eric, I'm good with that part. What's next? I'll teach you some more stuff about how you connect to the visualization part because that's a whole exercise right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
so come back. The plan is to do this
Okay. How
bi-weekly.
often do you typically have these, or they're not like,
This is bi-weekly as our schedule permits, because we want
oh,
to be certain to give you a scope of what it looks like life after divorce. It's possible. And I was one of those ones that was never going
yeah.
to get married again.
Yeah, I tried that too.
So how long are you two married?
14 years.
Okay. Beautiful.
It'll be 15 on her birthday in January.
Aw.
It's a
Yeah.
birthday present when you
Congratulations.
open up your presents.
She picked the
Yeah.
date. I
Can't be
wouldn't
any
have
better
forgotten,
than
but she
that.
picked the date. She wanted to get married on her birthday.
Now, let me
Aw.
share with you why. So this was the last thing because we were closing out. I try not to take too long, but if you don't mind me sharing the story, I'll
No,
share.
I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is what happened. After my divorce, when I shared with God that I was not doing this thing again, I don't even know why He made marriage. I don't understand why we even put this together. And if my marriage was going to last, why did He let it fall? You know, the whole yelling at God
Yeah.
thing. I'm so glad He didn't strike me dead. So after I got through my yelling at God moment, God shared with me, Tanya, I knew you before the world even knew you existed, and I loved you then, and I love you now. And I created an environment so that you can be loved, and that's what marriage is. But when you're put in an environment that misconstrues what's supposed to be, you don't get the full elements of what that is. So you didn't get the marriage I intended. And what I designed is good. The same way I designed you good. And there are people that don't understand your heart and your soul. It's still good. And I still have a plan for you because I designed you to be in the construct that I created so that you can get love, be love, and feel love. So you may not feel like it today, but marriage is still something I intend for you. And I'm like, I'm not hearing this correctly. So what God decided, let's have our moment together. So I started dating God. Yes, indeed, because the dating pool has got pee in it. I don't know why people. I declare it does. So I didn't want to do the dating.
No.
I have to live with this on a regular. Y'all don't get
Yeah.
off of this all the time.
No,
It's
she's
hilarious.
great. You both are.
She could be a comedian.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not dating again, God. Because you know how after your divorce or whatever major breakup you go through, your friends want to try to help you out. So
Yeah.
my friends was helping me out and they gave me all these busters. I'm like, I'm not going on another blind date. I don't want to go on no more group dates. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I decided to try to, in those quiet moments that I was sharing with the loneliness, getting to know Tanya more. And as I was getting to know me more, I began to understand God more because people make it about religion. God did never intended for this to be religion. He always intended for us to be in relationship. But people define things the way they define it to make them feel good or help them control it. But relationship is what God shared with me. I want to be in relationship with you so that you can understand what relationship is supposed to be like. So I decided after that was downloaded in my soul, okay, God, if you real, then you gotta show me how to date you because I don't know how none of this work. And the way I discovered was God knows the promptings of our heart. So I wake up in the morning, did my own visual exercise in the mirror. Tanya, I love you. Tanya, I forgive you for what you did not know. Tanya, we are going to have a great day. And then I like, well, God, if you listening to this conversation with me, you know what I would like to do today? I want to go and I would pick whatever was on my heart. Jeannie, I knew I was dating God when that stuff started showing up. So this one instance, my ex-husband didn't like going to plays. I love plays. And I'm a native of Washington, D.C. And the beautiful thing, my city is changing, but the beautiful thing about D.C. is that they have these little events that you can usually go to at public playhouses. And I couldn't afford to go to the public playhouse because I already shared my financial story earlier.
Yeah.
So I was like, Lord, I want to go see this play. And if you're going to take me on a date, could you take me there? And you know, since you're dating, you got to pay for it because that Bible said that you own a cattle on 1,000 hills. So you already got all the resources. Tell me what I got to wear. Give me an idea what it could. And Lord, I want a new outfit. So if I could get this outfit, I want to go to this. And I just laid out my plan, right? Thinking nothing of it. I was walking through because I still did my daydream walking because I was revamping me. Now, I was trying to expand my tomboy style because I realized after my divorce, I never dressed myself. My grandmother dressed me, and then I married a man that dressed me. I was
Oh.
33 years old, and I never dressed myself.
Hmm.
So I went to the mall. I'm like, today I'm going to figure out my style. So while I was walking through the mall, there was this little shop. It was one of those little mom and pop shops, but they had a space in the mall. And as I
Yeah.
was walking down the mall lane, the lady, she says, would you mind an offer that we're having? We're having a giveaway with certain things. And if you pick a different outfit and a style, we have a drawing and you could possibly win that outfit. I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting.
Sure.
So I went in and I walked around the store, and the young lady was telling me different things about it, and I learned what an A skirt was because I didn't know what that was. I learned different cuts of the blade. She was a great informant about fashion and style because I knew nothing. And then I got the little ticket thing that they had in a little glass bowl that was at the
Yeah.
register. I won my outfit.
Wow. Congrats.
So I decided,
It was
well, I
meant
got a
to
brand
be.
new outfit, God. Thank you. Now
Yeah.
we can go to the Playhouse. But those people at the Playhouse said this was a $55 play. I don't have $55. But I'm gonna get dressed and I'm gonna go to the Playhouse anyway. At least I could just say I walked down there, you
Mhm.
know? That
Yeah.
was my thought. Thinking nothing about what I said to God that morning, but
Yeah.
knowing I still kind of wanted to. You know, you wish, but you don't
Yeah.
want to really put up your high expectations. When I got to the Playhouse, I was told that everybody that was coming that day, because it was the final day of the play, they were opening it up to the community.
Oh my
So
gosh.
anybody that showed up got to go in for free.
Mm.
Look at that. That's amazing.
So dating God
Yeah.
is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
In that 3-year period that I dated God, that I learned to trust me. I learned to trust Him. And I recognize that God always intends for us to come to Him that way with expectation. And as I started moving through my journey in life, because God already revealed how much He loved me, in my brokenness, He loved me. When I couldn't afford anything, He showed me that He would provide.
Hmm.
And I share with God, I want to have an amazing birthday because I've always had to share my birthday with others.
Yeah.
And I never had a birthday the way I wanted to have a birthday because being the oldest out of all the kids, you
Yeah.
gotta let the little kids have their thing. So you couldn't get yours.
Yeah.
Being the responsible one over everything, even if you had it, you end up giving it away to somebody else. So you still couldn't have yours.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have a birthday on the beach because I never had a destination anything. I wanted to have it a spectacular thing. I was thinking my 40th birthday. So I planned out the place I wanted to go, St. Thomas. I wanted to be on the beach. I wanted to have these things. I wanted pretty flowers. I wanted it to be a glorious day. That's what I shared with God.
Yeah.
3 years later, somebody shows up in my world.
I wonder who
Mhm.
that was.
And we decide, I believe God says that you are mine.
Yeah.
And let's get married. And I was thinking the following year and started planning, but I went through my journal because I wrote down my spectacular birthday on St. Thomas with all of my things. That birthday party with everything I wanted became my wedding day because it had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
St. Thomas, the beach, a pretty dress because I was beginning to learn about dresses,
Yeah.
and my best friend.
Yeah.
But at that time, I didn't have a best friend until I met him.
Oh,
So
that's
I,
a beautiful story.
birthday
Yeah.
is my thankful party from
Yeah. So
God, and I got to open up my presents.
did you get married in St. Thomas?
Got married in
Yes.
St. Thomas,
Oh, wow.
Like,
That's
right
no,
near the
nice.
beach.
but
Didn't
watch
get on the
watch
beach
this.
because
When we got there, we didn't realize that getting married on the beach, they couldn't stop, or we couldn't stop their regular patrons from the hotel from coming on
Yeah.
the beach. So they could have been like in our pictures and all of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as God would have it, the young lady, back to relationship again, was our wedding coordinator, we were at the car dealership one morning, and she called Tanya for something. We were here and getting preparations for going to St. Thomas, and we were buying a car. And I said, let me speak to her. And I thanked her for all the things that she had been doing for Tanya because Tanya was so excited about going to St. Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
She gave us, this was something that you had to reserve years in advance.
2 to 3 years in
It
advance.
was like a area, I'll say an
It was a
area.
rooftop
Yeah, rooftop.
veranda.
And then you look over it onto the rocks in the
Mhm.
water.
Yeah. Oh,
And it was
beautiful.
private. And she gave us that as opposed
Wow.
to us going out on the beach. That saved us
But
thousands of
here's
dollars.
Oh my gosh.
birthday present that God gives you. He
Yeah.
plans a grand birthday
Yeah.
party. Because the lady shared with me when we got there, because I didn't know, she said, I need to let you know that we have to book 2 to 3 years in advance. And this place is still booked 2 to 3 years in
There's,
advance
wow.
for any engagement.
Yeah.
But the day that we spoke, it became open
Which was on a Monday.
Yeah.
for your birthday. So she said, I
Wow.
had to because that never happens. And she's
Yeah.
been working in that arena, she said, what, 7 years
Yeah, I
before?
think it was
But
7 years.
7 years, it had never happened in
Yeah.
7 years. But my birthday party from God.
What a beautiful start to
But you
your
know what
marriage.
that shows too, though? We as humans, we have our level of expectation that we want, and it may be far below what God wants for us. But we ask for what we want, and we say, "Huh, that's all they want me to give them this." And that's what he gave us an upgrade. And it was
Yeah.
beautiful. We had a beautiful time.
Yeah. It
It was real
sounds
nice. We had a ball. I keep telling Tanya we got to go back there
maybe
to
on your
celebrate.
15th anniversary.
Well, we're not gonna do that this
Hmm.
time because
It's a
maybe
lot
maybe
happening.
maybe our 20 we'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, thinking the
On our
20.
20, we said on our 20. We got so many
Mhm.
things going on because we both stay very, very, very busy. And we take little teeny mini vacations sometimes. Like we got to go to the mountains and we refresh ourselves and do all that.
Yeah,
We usually
we
do
do
that
that
in
a lot.
July around my birthday because she introduced me to the mountains and I love them. And
Yeah.
so we'll do that. But we'll probably do it for our 20th because I want it to be a nice
Really
big deal.
spectacular.
Yeah, it's got to be awesome, So, but that's our story. That's how it happened, But we
Right.
neither one of us had planned on getting married again, but God had a different idea.
Yeah.
You let Jesus join you on the journey. You get
Yes.
things that you never expected, a life that you truly desire. And because, like any good parent, God wants his children to have the best. But we don't often believe in him or trust him for him
Hmm.
to be able to do that for us. So I don't know what your religious background is, but I encourage you to have relationship and
Yeah.
let Jesus join you on the journey.
Yeah. Man, we've
Mm.
had fun. We kept you longer than we
Good.
supposed to.
Yeah. Well,
Than
thank you
I
both so
usually
much.
go.
You have a
That means you're special,
beautiful,
Gene, because we usually
yeah.
we usually done in 30 minutes, but
Well, you have a beautiful marriage and a beautiful
thank you. I
relationship
appreciate
together.
that.
It's really inspirational.
Hey,
And I'll see you
I've enjoyed
again.
meeting you. I really
Yeah.
have.
Well, I know I've been really quiet because I don't
That's all
know
right. But when you
like
speak,
about the video and whatever.
the things you've said have been good. So you don't
Yeah.
have to always say a whole lot to be impactful. I
Yeah.
just happen to talk a lot, that's all. But
Yeah. I love it. Like, and you say how, your mother raised you differently than
yeah,
most,
she did. She
men.
did.
Well, my goodness, she did an amazing job.
Thank you.
That's how like how all mothers should. That's how I hope I
Yeah,
raised
you
my
know what?
kids.
It's funny because sometimes I'll be like, my mother would smack me because I'm still going to have you walk on the inside on the sidewalk. I'm not letting you walk on the curbside. I know I can't let you do that because my mother said, no, you don't do that. You still
Yeah.
open doors for young women. That's what
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
So every once in a while I'll let Tanya go through a door, but she knows she'll look at me and I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the way my mother told me you're supposed to do it. And most guys they haven't been taught that or they don't exercise. They don't
No.
even think like that. I'm like, are you crazy? And I tell these young boys, respect that young lady,
Mhm.
right down to they would have a bad habit of throwing their water bottle down. I'm like, wait a minute, she handed you a bottle. You don't throw it on the ground for her to pick it up. You hand it back to her.
Yeah.
And they be looking at me like, huh? You heard, and if you don't do it, you're going to see me later.
Mhm.
So they make
Yeah.
sure they hand her that bottle back 'cause they don't want to do push-ups. So
Yeah.
Wow.
So you'll pass that information and training on to the next generation,
I feel
which
that's what
is
my
great.
responsibility is to help everybody
Yeah.
that I can. And so that's what I do.
You see, I never expected that. I'm from the North, and generally, I hate to say, men didn't open doors for me. So
That's
I
so
became
sad.
very independent, and I was proud of myself. I can do anything I want. And then when I moved to the South as an adult, a very mature adult, after so many years, I was shocked when men would hold the door for me, and I
Mhm.
wasn't used to that.
Right.
And there were awkward moments where I would walk to the door and open it for myself, and I could tell the man was sort of insulted that I did that.
Yep.
Mhm.
But
And
it wasn't the culture I was brought up in. I just
Right.
was brought up differently, but
And I still do it to this day. It doesn't have to be Tanya. I do it for young ladies because I have to teach
that's a
them
good
how
thought.
they should be treated.
Yeah.
what they should expect. I had this one young lady, I would not allow her to touch a car door or door. So she ended up calling me dad. She said, "Dad, can I open the door?" Yes, you can.
Yeah.
On the case, once she had learned the lesson, because she would just stop and wait for me to open the door. People would look, and I'd open the door for her, and then she'd go in because she had to be taught because her father neglected his duty in teaching her that. So
Yeah.
it was my responsibility because she became a mentee of mine. So I had to teach her those things.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that part. So anyway, we're gonna let you
Well,
go
Thank
because we
okay.
got to
Well,
get
thank
off
you
of
both
here.
so much. Have a good
It's been a
evening.
pleasure. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining
I really
us.
enjoy
you.
it.
So hopefully we can see you in 2 weeks. Let us know your
Yes.
progress and come back because this is it. This
Yeah.
nothing special. This is it.
Yeah. Well, you're very insightful, so it's a lot.
Thank
It
you.
really is. At a time I need
I
it.
can, but I don't like tagging a lot of
And you,
people in
okay.
the group because I just
She'll
don't
reach
like doing
out.
that.
You'll let me
But
know.
Jeannie,
Yeah.
you can inbox either one of us.
Yeah, I know how to find the
It's
events
not a
now.
problem. I am
Okay.
easy to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
You do the same. Be
Yeah,
safe.
thank
Take